All right, so we got a pastor in Mississippi that's got a side chick, and we got a lot of Taylor Swift news. Let's get into it. What is up, ladies and gentlemen? It's the world's worst comedian, Terrell Wright, and this is 411, the podcast, episode deuce. Episode 2. Yes, we are back with another episode. If you haven't watched the first episode, it is on my YouTube page right now. Go back and watch it. It'll explain kind of what we're doing here, the premise of the show, all the segments, all that stuff, kind of what we're doing. And I'm going to tell you, this one's going to be better. I feel like this one's going to be better. That's my goal, is to get every one of these better as we go along. So by the time we get to episode 100, it's going to be exceptional. So just go ride with me. Ride with me. Ride. Okay. Yeah, look, we're not going to do that. Anyways, let's jump right into this episode. Let's jump right into the stories. We got a lot to talk about, and this first one's a doozy. It's a doozy. I used that. I did say a doozy on my podcast, so we're gonna start with that. But anyways, there's a pastor in Mississippi. Now, I say Mississippi, it's actually Mississippi. You can't say Mississippi, it's Mississippi. Mississippi. But when you say Mississippi, it's Mississippi. Mississippi. But anyways, it's the pastor in Mississippi. He is in his church. He's doing his regular church service or whatever. And a lady comes into the church and is alleging that she is his side chick and that she's pregnant. And she is trying to fight the first lady. Now, you can't make this up. I swear you can't make this up. She is literally walking down the aisle, and people are like holding her back from trying to fight the wife, because she is the side chick. She's pregnant, and he's just standing there in the pulpit. Like, he didn't move. He's just standing there. I guess he thought he had the armor of God on him or whatever. And he's just standing there, not saying a word. But anyways, there's a video out there now of everything. The police came. The police tried to kick everybody out, trying to figure out what's happening. Also, there's another video of the wife talking about the situation and how she's standing by her husband and how things are hard and this and that, and was pretty much saying, I'm not trying to have you guys vote, to remove him or whatever. So let's take a look at a little bit of that.
We can hear from her.
To God. It's hard. Everything is not easy. It's hard. I'm not standing here because I'm so strong. I'm weak. So a lot has happened. But as I go through what I go through, God is the ultimate strength that keeps me. God said all have fallen short. All have fallen short of his glory. Nobody is perfect.
All right, now, so eventually the deacons, all of the members of the church, eventually voted to remove pastor from the church. Mr. Ricky Scott is the pastor. Pastor Ricky Scott is the one that they removed from the church. They fired him, of course, and he no longer is the minister for that church. Now, he's in Mississippi. He'll find another church for sure. But I think the interesting thing is you guys, if you guys know me, if you've been around, if you've seen my content, I do a character called the Reverend. And that Reverend character is not a character that is fully made up. Like, he's made up in a way, but he's not. Like, that's based off of a real person. And if you've grown up in church, especially if you've grown up in black churches, and if you've grown up in Southern Baptist black churches, you're gonna see some stuff. You're gonna see some stuff. Just simple as that. There are gonna be people, and I tell my family this a lot. They're like, oh, I don't understand why you're not in church. You grew up in church, you play drums, you sang, you did all this stuff in church. I don't understand why you're not in church every Sunday. And I'm like, I live my life a whole lot better than a lot of people that are in church every single Sunday. So yes, that the reverend character that I do, that's pretty much a sexual deviant. It's an equal opportunity. That's based off of a pastor that I had at a church that I used to go to a lot. I'm not gonna get into specifics about what church that was, but it was a church that I used to go to a lot, and that was the pastor there. And this pastor was from New Jersey, and this pastor was not an outstanding citizen. And this pastor would have literally other guest pastors that would come in, and these guest pastors would bring these women. And when I tell you these guest pastors would bring these women were like, they obviously look like women of the night. They weren't dressed to be in church. So yeah, and just the way he was a slimy person, just so slimy. And I make jokes. The reverend character is fun to me to do, pause, but I make jokes, but it's real life. Like literally is real life. This is a real person. He was really slimy. He was really grimy, and that just happens. And it leads me to this point. When you have certain jobs, when you have certain responsibilities, you're held to a higher standard. When it comes to being a pastor of a church, you're just expected to not have any mistresses. You're expected to not have any side chicks. If Lil Wayne, was married and it came out that he had 2 or 3 side chicks, people are still going to buy the Carter 47 when it comes out. They're not going to boycott Lil Wayne because he had a bunch of mistresses. And not to say that it's right or that it's expected. It's just you don't hold rappers to that kind of standard. You just don't. You don't expect rappers to be outstanding citizens. You don't expect rappers to not have mistresses. You don't expect rappers to not do illegal stuff. Like anytime you hear, T.I. got caught with X amount of guns or whatever, it's like, okay, and what's next? You just don't expect pastors to have mistresses because they're supposed to go up there and preach the gospel. But anyways, I don't want to get on a tangent about that. But that's just an interesting story, to say the least. And it's happening all over the world, and it's going to continue to happen. It's going to continue to happen. Just like, and I guess we'll talk about it. I don't even have this on the agenda to talk about, but it's just like the pastor in New York that got robbed. Like they had a robbery in the middle of church service. Like literally a robbery in the middle of church service, and the pastor just kind of standing up there, and it didn't seem like he was really all that surprised that he was getting robbed. And I'm like, what are you involved in, bro? Like what's going on to where you got goons coming up in here to rob you? And granted, he had on like a whole bunch of jewelry. Looks like he had on gold watches, Rolexes, gold chains, all kinds of stuff. And this church didn't look like it was much. Which will lead me to believe it's like, bro, where's your money going? Why is your money going to all this jewelry? When your church looks like it needs a new roof. I don't get it. But anyways, that kind of stuff is going to always happen. People, what they call men of God and women of God are always going to kind of engage in those kind of activities. That's unfortunate, but it's always going to happen. Anyways, let's get into the next thing. So Taylor Swift has a stalker. I mean, are we surprised at that? Taylor Swift has a stalker. I'm not surprised at it. A lot of these celebrities have stalkers. We hear a whole lot about these situations, but this particular stalker is interesting. This particular stalker has gone to her house in New York several times and has been arrested several times. He went to her place in New York, and Taylor Swift is Taylor Swift. You can't just walk into Taylor Swift's place. These New York buildings, you have to get through several layers of security in order to even get on the elevator to get up to, whatever penthouse it is that these celebrities or these really rich people stay in. But he's been posting himself out in front of Taylor's place several times, and he's been arrested a couple of times, and he's been charged with stalking and can't remember the other charges, but he's also had restraining order against him, and he's violated this. And he was back for a third time and got arrested for the third time. And he even told the police, "Oh, I'm flying back to Seattle," and they didn't find any evidence of that. So it's like, what's up with this dude? I just don't understand. Like, what does he think he's gonna get to see her? At this point, she's a billionaire or close to a billionaire, and when you reach that status, you can't be touched. You can't just walk up on Jay-Z. You can't just walk up on Elon Musk. You can't just walk up on Jeff Bezos. Like, these people have people who have people who have people. Like, in order to get in contact with, you can't just call them. You have to call somebody who has to call somebody else who has to call somebody else to get a hold of them. So, like, bro, what are you doing? I think, one of the interesting things, and I think I just, I heard this today, I found out that the police found out that the guy was posted up out of Taylor Swift's home all this time because he was trying to reach her about her car's extended warranty. Yeah, I did that joke. I did that joke. That's funny. That's funny. But anyways, so I have a picture of Taylor Swift's stalker. So let's take a look. Let's take a look at this guy. So this is the stalker. This guy looks like this guy looks like Post Malone before the drugs. This guy looks like Jack Harlow 10 years from now. Like, what's up with this guy? I don't know. Either way, this is Taylor Stalker. This is the person that's been trying to get a hold of her for her car's extended warranty. But anyways, I hope he gets the help that he needs. That's a sick thing to do, is to continually stand outside somebody's apartment like that, in somebody's place. Like, come on, bro. Like, you don't have anything else to do. You don't have a job. Like, find something to do. I wish I had enough time and energy to put into that. That would mean I have a whole lot of money, which I don't. So anyways, in other Taylor news, let's talk about this. So she is upset, and rightfully so, because there has been a round of AI, what they call deep fake images of her circulating on the internet. And when I say deep fake images, these are images that are, they have Taylor Swift's face, but they are on another person's body, and it has that person engaging in acts that are unbecoming. Or I guess they be. That's another one. That wasn't scripted either. So, and I'm gonna say I've seen these images. This is not something that I searched for. This is not something that I looked for. I came across these images. These images came across my phone. I'm not gonna say how they did, but they did. They came across my phone. And when I tell you, these images are so realistic, it's ridiculous. It's amazing how the AI technology is these days, to where they can actually do this. They can actually do this stuff, and they can make these images look so absolutely freaking real. Now, don't go at me. Okay, I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this in total respect to Taylor Swift. And it's not going to sound like it, but I need to say this in order to kind of explain these images. So these images, imagine just Taylor Swift's face on obviously another person's body. And when I say obviously another person's body, that's not Taylor Swift's body. And I'm not body shaming. We're not talking about Taylor Swift's body. I'm just saying that the body that's on these AI images are not Taylor Swift's body. That I can say. It's obvious that it's not, but it's still Taylor Swift's face. It's still Taylor Swift's face being used without her permission, or without her being or without her knowing about it. And it's also using her face in a way, in a light that she does not portray herself, which is a problem. I'm not going to sit here and say it's not a problem. That's a problem. I don't know if it's illegal. I'm sure it's illegal in some way, form, or fashion. I just don't know, kind of how the laws work when it comes to that kind of stuff. But she has a case. She's going to go after the outlet that leaked these videos. And the outlet that leaked the video is Celeb, which is, and I said the word, and I said it because it is that website. Please don't come after me, Homeland Security. That is the name of the website that's released these photos. And they have been known to release some photos of celebrities and release photos, even real photos of celebrities, like the Jennifer Lawrence thing back in the day, where somebody got a hold of her iCloud and downloaded all kinds of, intimate videos and pictures that she took, of herself and in relationships or, in whatever capacity. She, did what she did. She wanted to do it. It was her phone. It was her material, and they got a hold of her iCloud and they leaked it, and it went all over the internet. It went crazy. And she even did a interview recently where she said something about, being nude in a movie and kind of saying that she took the power back, like saying that, she was able to do it on her own terms and kind of taking the power back from the people that did that to her. But so this website has been under, some scrutiny before, and I'm sure they're going to catch what from Taylor Swift's team, because it's something. I will say that it's something. I've seen it, and it's something. So I really hope that Taylor's able to kind of get through that, and the whole AI thing is really crazy. And I'm gonna tell you, if anything happens and there's some videos or some pictures or something that comes out of me, just know the first thing I'm gonna claim is deep fake. Deep AI fake, baby. It's not me. It's amazing what they can do out there these days. It's amazing. All right, so if you've watched the first episode of this podcast, you're going to know what this next segment is, and it is the throwback movie of the episode or the day. The throwback movie, and this is in response or in, not in response, but kind of paying homage to the fact that there's going to be a fourth installment of this movie coming out on Netflix this summer that I cannot wait to see, even though I feel like it's probably not going to be as good as it should be. Being that the most recent installment that he did of a movie that was a classic didn't really go over as well as I thought it would. But we're talking about Beverly Hills Cop. So Beverly Hills Cop is my throwback movie of this particular episode. If you don't know anything about Eddie Murphy's Beverly Hills Cop series, then definitely go check it out. There's 3 movies for sure. And the 4th one, like I said, is coming out on Netflix. And when I was talking about the other movie, I was talking about Coming to America. It just didn't do to me as well as the original did. Sometimes you just gotta leave things alone. It was funny. There were some funny parts, but I just was like, man, the original, you just can't beat the original. There were so many one-liners. If the man wants to change his name to Muhammad Ali, then the man should change his name to Muhammad Ali. And there was just so many one-liners in that movie and so many great moments. Like, you just don't want to mess it up. But anyways, Beverly Hills Cop is one of my favorite series of Eddie Murphy's as far as movies are concerned. I love the third one. The third one was my favorite. The one where they were like, they had like the mock Disney World type of vibe. That one I want to say was one of my favorites, but this first one, Beverly Hills Cop, the first one was a classic. It was in Eddie's prime, and I loved the banter that he had in that movie. It was just his style, where he was like a really wisecracking but could kind of weasel his way into any kind of situation type of Eddie Murphy, and it was really, really good. So if you haven't had a chance to check out any of the old Eddie Murphy movies, especially Beverly Hills Cop 1 and 2, 3, I think, came a little later. I think 1 and 2 came before 1990, I want to say, or maybe 2 was around 1990. And then Beverly Hills Cop 3 was a little bit later. But really, really great movies. And like I said, I can't wait to see Beverly Hills Cop 4. We'll see what happens with that. I hope it's as good as I hope it will be. But we'll see. We'll see. I like Eddie Murphy's movies a whole lot more than I like his stand-up. And I'm going to say that, and I'm going to continue to say that until the day I go away from this earth. You know, I like it. I like Eddie Murphy's stand-up, but I loved his movies a whole lot more than his stand-up. I'm not saying he wasn't funny, but he is not my top 5 as far as stand-up comedians are concerned. So, yeah, I'm going to catch a lot of hate for that. But anyways. All right, so this next segment is called Brought to You By. Ladies and gentlemen, you are watching 411 the podcast episode 2, and this episode of the podcast is brought to you by COVID-20. Are you tired of working? Do you need a vacation? Are you sick of calling out of work for the common cold? Well, we have the answer for you. COVID-20. Yes, it's the next installment of the COVID virus, and we have it specifically for you. For the low price of $2,020, we can infect you with the COVID-20 virus and start a whole nother global pandemic, sure to get you at least 3 months off of work. Just enough time for you to start a TikTok page, gain 10 million followers, and never have to work a real job ever again. COVID-20. Get yours today. Thank y'all so much for hanging out with me for episode 2. I told you it was going to get a little better. It's going to get better every single time we do it. But thank you guys for so much for hanging out. Do not forget to like this video. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel and to turn your notifications on so you get notified whenever I post a new video. I don't know, like I said, I don't know how many times I'm going to post a week, but I'm going to try to do as much as I can. You know, with current events, it's going to be it's going to kind of push me to really kind of pump these out a little bit more than I'm probably going to have time to in order to stay on top of things and stay, you know, on top of current events. But anyways, thank you guys for hanging out with me. I appreciate you. You have watched 411 the podcast. I'll see y'all again next time. Deuces.